Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Live on my YouTube channel, I'm Rich Mancuso, and this Thursday night edition of Keep It in the Ring, February 26, 2026. Welcome in, everyone. As always, thank you for your continued support. In a moment, my co-host, colleague, great friend, Tommy D, TD Sports Talk, will join in the conversation. Hour, a little more than that tonight, a lot to talk about at Keep It in the Ring tonight. My social media handles, of course, at the bottom of the screen, scrolling as always. Get me on Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, where you can also like the Keep It in the Ring Facebook page. Also, X at Ring786, Instagram, Mancuso786, and read my content on LatinoSports.com, plus some other stuff I write on there as well, with a lot of boxing on there right now, in fact, about what we're going to talk about during this next hour. The boxing schedule also scrolled at the bottom of your screen, and also thanks again to Scott Cherson, String Punk Entertainment, String Punk Sports, for handling us each and every week here on the program. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Keep It in the Ring, and also comment as we go along. We'll get to many of those as we can tonight. The theme tonight is well known that I said it all week. Boxing needs therapy, needs a therapist. We'll talk about the latest with Zuffer and Dana White and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy and now Frank Warren and Queensberry. What's going on here? It's a mess. Boxing needs therapy. Conor Ben started this all off, and we'll talk about all of that. And old-timers again, and going in the ring, we're going to discuss and analyze the revisit, once again, of Pacquiao-Mayweather. They're going to do it again. We'll go into that. The aftermath of Ryan Garcia's first title win. He is now the champion at 147, WBC welterweight champ. We'll talk and analyze and break that down. Top Rank might be back and reuniting with ESPN. That's good for the sport. We'll go into that. And what's next with a lot of the champions coming up. Also, analyzing the upcoming fight calendar. It's being set as we move along going into the month of March. And WWE WrestleMania season, and another blow to WWE. Another member of the division is down with a legitimate injury, changing all plans for WrestleMania. We'll get into that. Nostalgia fact of the week. You know how it is. This is Keep It in the Ring. Let's get to it. Well, fans, it's time for me to vent. Boxing needs a therapist. Boxing needs therapy. I mean, let's look at what's gone on during the past week since we last left you last Thursday night here at Keep It in the Ring. You know, I have been around boxing now, it's going to be 43 years, maybe a little more, and I saw some things going on back then with Don King and Bob Arum, two of the major promoters of the sport, the Hall of Fame promoters in the illustrious history of the sport, and yeah, they were always back and forth, neck and neck, tooth and nail. They even once got into a confrontation. Arum pulled King off the ring ropes. Yeah, this is what happened in the sport back then. But we didn't have social media back then. We had the major networks televising the sport. Yeah, the complexion and everything has changed. We know about that. Controversy has always been a part of the sport. But now we got all the money floating around with Dana White and Zuffer. And we also have that money rolling around. Let's go into this first. As a boxing purist, you know how I feel about this. A traditionalist, I don't want to see old-timers in the ring. I want to see guys that are there now, the superstars of the sport. Like we just saw this past weekend with Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios and so many others. There's so many great young fighters out there and champions. But now we're getting this again. We're getting this again. What is it, 10 years ago? 11, Mayweather-Pacquiao, the first one, which was a disappointment in the ring. Pacquiao sustained an injury. He admitted to that after the fight. It was a dull fight. It was anticipated. It might have happened much later than expected. But now, both of them are going to do it again. Old-timers in the sport. Pacquiao's come out of retirement. We know that. He fought Barrios last time out in December, 4 years back from being out of the ring, and drew a draw with Barrios. And didn't look too bad. Didn't look like the old Pacquiao. Of course not. He's 45, 46 years old, something like that. Mayweather's what, going to be 48 years old? I don't want to see this. I don't know how many do want to see this again. The first fight, of course, we remember in May of 2015. I remember it real well. I covered it. Pacquiao-Mayweather, that drew an all-time record on pay-per-view. Generated a lot of money. A lot of money. And now we're going to have it again. Yeah, it's official. The Sphere in Las Vegas, Nevada, and of course, who is going to stream it? Netflix. Everyone has Netflix. Netflix knows that. Mayweather knows that. Pacquiao knows that. Now, in the case of Floyd Mayweather, why is he doing this again? We haven't seen Mayweather in what? How many years now? Okay? Pacquiao we have seen. And I didn't expect Pacquiao, who's in the Hall of Fame, by the way, to come back, but he did. And Mayweather, I never thought he would come back because we all thought he had the money, as he was known, Money Mayweather, to have a lot of money. And he made an awful lot in his career. But supposedly the reports come out that, and those that are close to him will also leak it out, he doesn't have the money he once had. If they fight Pacquiao again, my question is, these are two old-timers. Yeah, considered in today's standards in boxing, these are two old-timers. They are Hall of Famers. They had their day in the ring, and now they're going to do it again. And they're going to make money. I don't think they'll make as much money as they did in the first fight, but they're going to make money again. They won't break records. Netflix doesn't go with pay-per-view numbers. Of course, they go on subscriptions. The intrigue about this, as I wrote on LatinoSports.com, is seeing Pacquiao-Mayweather again. And those who saw it the first time are going to see it again to relive the first fight, which won't be like the first fight. They're going to look at it again because they're going to see Mayweather, who's perhaps one of the best fighters of this era, back in the ring. Defensively, we'll see if he still has it. We'll still see if it's that undefeated record. You know, he says now he's going to be an active fighter after this fight. First, he's going to have Mike Tyson in the Congo in April. That's an exhibition, by the way, and hopefully he doesn't get hurt there. And why is Mike Tyson still doing this? Obvious. Money. When you're throwing money around like this, of course, guys that used to be great yesterday are going to come back and try it again. Because you're hearing all types of names that may be looking to do it again because of this. Miguel Cotto. They've been talking about him coming back this week. That's one of the names I've heard. You know, because there are rumors on social media, a lot of buzzing, a lot of talk. However, this does not help the sport. This does not help the youngsters, the superstars that are out there today, to get them to propel them more. What boxing needs that. Instead, we're getting Pacquiao-Mayweather. Why, oh why are we doing this? Why, oh why are Mayweather and Pacquiao trying to relive the past with a second fight? It's useless, my friends, yet you will buy it. Because you have Netflix, I don't doubt it. You're a boxing nut just like me. You will watch it. Who wins? Who cares? But because it's Mayweather-Pacquiao, the second fight, and it's being revisited 11 years later, and it's on Netflix, you will watch it and see what happens. Do I like it again? Absolutely not. Yet there is no unity in boxing, we know that. There is no standard national boxing commission that can prevent this because this is a real fight. This is not an exhibition. And so they can do what they want to do. And with Netflix with all the money and getting there to the top of the game in the sport, we're getting this. And we are going to see it unless something happens between now and then. Boxing needs a therapist. Boxing needs therapy. Point one right there. Get rid of the old-timers, get them all together at the table, discuss it, and let's move on from the past. Though we do nostalgia on the program, but we do that because that's a part of the illustrious boxing history. And Mayweather Pacquiao was a part of the illustrious boxing history, even though it was a dull of a fight. But we don't want to see it. We don't want to see it again in the real. Boxing needs therapy. That's one point. Which leads to my point again. Dana White seems to be with Zuffer and Paramount Plus making their move. They're looking to take over the sport, and with the complexion changing, now with Paramount Plus in the picture, with Dana White, Zuffer, and TKO, Dana White can do it. And so we had this. And the person who needs a therapist right now is Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. Conor Benn, who is his top fighter in the Matchroom Boxing stable, decides not to renew with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom and shocked us all during the week. He is now deflected ship. He's now a part of Zuffa and Dana White. In fact, one fight for $15 million. That's what he signed for. And he's going to get that fight. It's supposedly today reported, official, Conor Benn's first fight with Zuffa on Paramount will be on the Tyson Fury comeback fight in April over in the UK. And that's the one fight, $15 million for Conor Benn. Now, it brings to concern here for Eddie Hearn, who needs a therapist and needs one badly. Because he took this one bad, and why not? He should. He was in a corner of Conor Benn for the longest time. They were loyal to each other, and Eddie Hearn did what he did to take care of his fighter. But as we all know, my friends, loyalty in boxing, that doesn't exist. Conor Benn's message to Eddie Hearn right there. For the decade with Matchroom, he thanked Hearn, his team, for guiding him, and that included an allegation of using PEDs or whatever that forced the first fight with whatever. His first fight, the two of them, Conor Benn, and all right, we'll get to that anyway. Eddie Hearn was in his corner. Zuffa presented, he said, an opportunity. I need a therapist because there's been so much going on with this. He simply couldn't refuse. He wished Eddie well and said he could still be a part of this team. And you know, Eddie Hearn and Dana White let's just say they don't hang out. They're not kissing each other anytime soon. There's the war words with Eddie Hearn and Dana White. So it's understandable what's going on here is a despondent Eddie Hearn. For the first time I've seen him almost in tears because he lost Conor Benn. In fact, they even have now Zuffa listing their roster of fighters. Some names you know, some you don't, including they signed a heavyweight that fought for the title to Anthony Joshua and did the upset of the year at the Garden a few years back. Ruiz. Eddie Hearn is upset. Andy Ruiz is now also part of Zuffa and Dana White. But the big news is Conor Benn. Unbelievable what's gone on in boxing this week. As they say, boxing overall needs a therapist. They need therapy. The promoters, the fighters, the streaming networks need therapy because this is controversy that we've never seen before in the sport, and it's only because of one thing. What do you hear me say all the time? The implications are because the money's out there. Unbelievable what's gone on. As we take it another step before I bring Tommy D in, Queensberry and Frank Warren have been very successful over in the UK, working hand in hand with the Zone and the Turk guy. Well, now, Frank Warren is suing the Turk guy reportedly for $1 billion because he says he's not in the mix. He's suing Seller and TKO for $1 billion, which creates more of a war in the sport, which creates more of the theme. Therapy is needed for this sport desperately. So Frank Warren and Queensberry involved in this, and Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy continues his war of words with Zuffa and Dana White. It doesn't get any better. It's drama. It's suspense. But it comes down to this. Boxing needs a therapist. Boxing overall as a sport needs therapy. And we don't know how that will ever get done because they'll never come together to the table with all the money thrown at them on the table. So on that note, let me bring in all this business and discuss it with my co-host, producer, great colleague, Tommy D, TD Sports Talk. Welcome in, Tommy. Tommy, you there?
What's up, Rich?
There you go.
What's up, Rich?
What a week, Tom. Do you need a therapist?
I definitely need a therapist. I speak to a therapist as we speak, but but I don't want to get into that, man. I'm not a fighter.
There's never a shame about it. I've been to a therapist. I still talk to my therapist. I still talk to him. I think everybody does. But boxing needs therapy. Do you agree? After all I've just discussed and what's gone this past week, what is your take on all this, Tommy?
I think it's a circus. I mean, a couple people in the comments are saying it's a circus, all these guys trading fighters, and some of these fighters that are getting this money and getting the opportunity to fight it. Conor Ben, what did he do? What did he do to deserve $15 million from Zuffa? Right?
And he's going to get, and his first fight for $15 million is going to get against the former champion Regis Prograis.
Yeah, and apparently, from what I'm hearing, $15 million really is not for that. Ben's going to set up in a big fight after. It's kind of like a tune-up because they're fighting at 150 catchweight. It's not 147. So this is like his fifth fight in a row where he's fighting at above the welterweight division.
The whole thing is crazy. What do you feel for Eddie Hearn with all this? Because he's been the leader.
No, these are guys. These are guys with money. They're privileged guys fighting other privileged guys with money that are fighting over fighters that don't even care for the fighters and they don't even care for the fans. So why should we care? Right? I think it's all a joke. You know what I'm saying? And Turkey's coming in and kind of trying to take over. But at the end of the day, are they giving us the fans for the leader? You know what I'm saying? Now, but listen, Zuffa's put on two cards.
They have, and Dana White has made it known again that they are changing the complexion of the whole thing. And they are already. There's a lot going on with Dana White and Zuffa. You see it, and Conor Ben is one part of this, but their shows have been pretty good, and you talk to the fighters that have been on the cards already, and they got Opatai coming up next weekend, March 6th, defending the cruiserweight title he has, and he's looking to unify, but there's, again, the contradiction what they're doing, because White said they're going with their own divisions and their own Zuffa belt and things like that, and they got the money to do what they want, let's face it, Tom, but,
Are they approaching and coaching these fighters from these other promoters just to say, I took this fighter from you and say, I got him, or are they coaching these fighters so they could put on better shows for the public? And I don't think they care. I think they're doing it in fight and just to kind of eliminate the other promotions, right? They're just coaching these guys in their promotion. For what? To put them in fights with Regis Prograis? Putting a guy 29 years old against a guy that's 37 years old? Nobody cares, right? They're just coaching these fighters just to do it. This is like the suits being suits. Rich white men trying to take money from steal fighters from or steal money from other rich white men.
I tried to get numerous people on this show tonight in the boxing industry, media people. I failed. It was just that way. I will down the line, and we're going to have a nice panel discussion about this. Some current fighters, former fighters, even some of the promotional people involved. In fact, I think you have Thomas Lamana on one of your shows on Sunday, which maybe, and I'm sure you're going to present this to him because he's almost like a B-side type of promoter, but puts on good shows down in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and elsewhere. To talk to him about this from his perspective, I believe, Tom, that it's good and bad for the sport. I really do, because you have one guy now that's got the money behind him with Paramount Plus looking to change the entire industry because he said boxing needed change. Yeah, it does need change, but not the way it's being done. I like competition. We all do. Bob Arum and Don King used to compete neck and neck, tooth and nail all the time back then.
Yeah. It seems like I got an echo. The echo is now like you. StreamYard is really on something.
Yeah, we apologize if there's any technical problems as usual. Yeah. I hear you well, but you might be getting that echo. But we'll move on. We'll move on from this. A lot to be determined here. Zuffa, Dana White, Queensberry now with Frank Warren involved in this, and of course Eddie Hearn. And I feel for Eddie Hearn in a way because he went all out for Conor Benn. He did. He might not be the most likable guy in the sport, but he knows how to put on a good show at Matchroom Boxing, and I feel for him. I feel for him because he went out of his way for Conor Benn over the years. What is your opinion about Mayweather-Pacquiao, too? Did you hear what I said at the opening?
Yeah, I did. I think it's a joke, and it's obviously that Floyd needs the money. He's selling his own, pretty much. Something that I showed him to do, right? He's, but I mean, it's obviously he needs the money somehow. This is a way of trying to get him the money, big money. I don't think they're going to do the numbers that they did in the first fight.
No doubt. They won't. I want to know what the fans have to say. If anybody coming in with any comments so far, Tom?
Yeah, people coming in. I'm just trying to fix my mic, but
yeah.
People, they're agreeing, and it's like a circus. So people are saying, one comment, Regis went life and death, and is old now and is fighting on a terrible fight. People in the building just basically saying the same as you, and
the echo is bad. We know. We know. Yep. And Fury versus Magov is disgusting as well for his comeback fight. See, you the fans know what's going on as well, but again, as I said, you're going to buy into it because it's boxing and you love boxing, so you're going to buy into it. Mayweather Pacquiao and Tyson Mayweather, the exhibition before he gets to Pacquiao, I don't know. I just don't know where this is headed. All I know is, again, as I said, and I'll say it again, boxing needs therapy. They need a therapist. The sport needs therapy.
The fans either, they got to stop watching. They got to stop watching.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Just like baseball fans will come back every time there's a labor dispute with the players and owners. They say they'll no longer watch it again. They won't go to the ballpark again, and they always come back. Boxing fans are the same. And let's face it, boxing is on a thin string. Yeah, Tom.
Sorry, but you're getting feedback. Can you fix your mic? The mic is coming back strong. It's saying it's hard.
Okay, well,
very loud. So maybe if you take
well, is that better?
Talk again. I'm sorry.
I'm here, and I was saying about Tyson Fury and his fight and everything else. I don't know if we're coming. How's that, Tom? Is that better?
I think that's a little bit better. You guys let me know what it is. I know I got an echo coming in. I can't go.
Yeah, we're having technical problems tonight, but if we have to break and straighten it out, we will. Okay, Tom, just give me the cue. We'll do that. It's live programming. We do live show. These things do happen. And we're on the StreamYard system, and it could be on their end as well. So, but let's move on, Tom. Let's before we have a lot to do. Okay, now I'm getting an echo, but we'll do the best we can. Let's get to Ryan Garcia, back to business. Finally, he has a championship. The skeptic can say no, otherwise no. In Vegas, of course, he gets his first major championship, 12 rounds. He dominates Mario Barrios. He's new to WBC welterweight champion of the world. Garcia, with the early knockdown, set the tone. Barrios could not adjust in no way. The scorecard showed the story. I had it a shutout. One judge gave Barrios 3 rounds, I think another 2, but I gave it a shutout. The left, Barrios said, he didn't prepare enough for that right. The Ryan Garcia right looked like the Ryan Garcia we once knew. The question is, Tommy, where does this put Ryan Garcia now? And what did you think?
Guys, let me know if it sounds a little better, because I don't get a echo. Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, there's no more echo, so let me know if hopefully I fixed it.
Well, I got an echo on you, but I'm dealing with it okay. Let's continue, if we can, with this Ryan Garcia stuff. Show some of the images of the fight that we have up, if you have, and take a look at how dominant he was. How did you have it, Tom? How'd you score it?
He really didn't have anything for Ryan. It's like they didn't prepare. for the right hand. But and it seems like they only really had one plan, and the plan, was so Mancuso was trying to tell him in the corner was to kind of press it more and go to the body. But they didn't have no plan B or C. And Ryan looked phenomenal. Some people are saying it's like was Ryan back on the juice.
Yeah.
He looked phenomenal.
All right, you got some images of the fight that we have. Can you put them up? I'm sure everybody has seen this already. Victorious for the first time with a major championship, the right to perfection. And again, Barrios had no way to counter what Garcia set the tone early in that first round knockdown. Garcia going to the body, and there's the shot that put Barrios down in that early in the first round, which stunned everyone. And there's the scorecards. I had it a shutout. I gave every round to Ryan Garcia. One judge, I think, gave him 3 rounds, but I had it a shutout.
Just gave Barrios a couple rounds, which I found shocking. But yeah, Barrios looked like he didn't make the fight. There was also rumors that he wasn't feeling well, that he might be sick. He made no excuses.
So it leads to questions now, Tom. Put this image up because we got to take a look. Where does Ryan Garcia go from here? The championship picture in the welterweight division. Of course, Garcia, WBC. Rolly Romero, who beat Garcia in Times Square, WBA champ. And you got Lewis Crocker. And now there's talk about Devin Haney. This sets up maybe at 147. Devin Haney is a champion at 147 of WBO. Perhaps we finally get Henny Garcia 2 at 147. There's a list of what Ryan Garcia could have next. What do you think before we talk about him calling out Shakur Stevenson and the whole catchweight situation they're going back and forth with?
Honestly, I don't have any idea. I don't know how these fighters stand. Because obviously, Goldie doesn't fight any of the top guys. He's been on the shelf since last May, right? Garcia, you never know with him. Talk about therapy. It's the guy that definitely right?
He's already had it, he said.
Never been looking to fight the top guys in the division for the last 4 months. And then you have Crocker, who is hurt. So he's on the shelf right now. We don't know when he's going to be back. I'm not sure. I mean, I think would be Garcia and Devin Haney.
Yeah.
But I don't
They've been going at it. They've been going at it after that first encounter and controversy, and I wouldn't doubt that that's what they may do. But this guy, Shakur Stevenson, champion at 140, he called out Shakur right away after the win, and he's talking about forgetting the catch weight shit. Typical King Ryan Garcia stuff. Let's do it for real. I want to take your belt and snatch it right off you. That's Shakur and Ryan Garcia. Garcia says this, though, as long as there's no rehydration clause, things will go forward. Shakur says, and he said to Shakur, stop defaming me about the steroids. It's just because you're scared. Do you think, catch weight or not, that it could be Garcia Shakur next?
I mean, it all depends. Like I said, I don't know what's up with Ryan. I don't trust Ryan. He also said that forget the catch weight, they'll just come down and fight him at 140 and fight for Shakur's title. But the thing is that is he going to make the weight? Because he was supposed to fight Devin Haney at 140 and he came in at 144.
You don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. So can he who knows? But now all of a sudden he's saying that he can. So the thing is, he's the wild card in all of this. You can't trust or believe anything that this guy says.
Well, you know what, Tom? I will say this. Ryan Garcia looked determined. He was more focused. His head seemed straight. And he's still taking in the moment. Does he go off that great moment and become Ryan Garcia again, lunacy that needs therapy? That remains to be seen. But I think fans want to see him and Henny again and settle the score, rather than Shakur, who might have a problem with his catch weight situation. Shakur should, I believe, focus on defending his title at 140 to try and unify that division, now that Teofimo Lopez is out at 140 and moved up to 147. So let's see where that goes, Tom. It's interesting, though. Ryan Garcia, congratulations, whether you like him or not. First major title in the sport, and he got it. And it's because he was focused and determined, and he did it. All right, but that zone paper, Tom, yeah.
We're having more problems. People think
All right, you know what we're going to do, Tom? Let's take a quick break. Let's regroup. Maybe you can get the technical issues ironed out, and then we'll continue to go along. Okay, so everyone stay with us. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Tommy D. This is Keeping in the Ring. We'll take a brief time out. We'll continue this. We have a lot more to go here. To stay with us. Tom, get to it. We'll straighten out the technical issues and come right back.
Petwell Clinic was built with busy pet parents like you in mind, providing walk-in preventative vet care, treatment for minor ailments, and chronic condition management. You remain with your pet throughout their visit, and all charges are clearly explained, so there are no surprises at checkout. Just walk in to our Paramus, Greenbrook, or Union locations, or visit us at petwellclinic.com for more information. Petwell Clinic was built with...
Can you guys hear me? Let me test now, just before I bring Rich back up. I want to see what's going on. I changed all the settings. It's weird. I took the echo off. But guys, let me know if you guys can hear me. Everything is the same that I always have it. It's so weird. This is definitely StreamYard. Hold on. He says Rich is kind of low too. But let me see me, and then I'll bring Rich up. And then you let me know. We'll do testing, and then we'll come back because this is crazy. So can you guys hear me? Yoda, can you hear me? He says Rich kind of low, Tommy kind of low. What about now? Can you guys hear me now? Somebody let me know. Yes, no, maybe so. Low, high, bad, static. Somebody. Yeah, nobody's responding. Let me play it on this end here. I'm gonna have to try to do this here. So. Anybody? No. Shit. I'm gonna have to do the echo on this joint. Fuck. Testing. Anybody can hear me? All right, I sound fine, I think. All right, let's go ahead. Rich, go ahead and talk, and then I'm gonna just test it here to see if I can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah, you're on mute. Go ahead, take the mute off. Rich, you're on mute. Take mute off.
Okay, do we hear each other now? I'm in an echo, but I do hear me.
You're high. Your volume is real high.
Fans, this is live. Stay with us. I know that we have a long show to go here and a lot more to go. And we're sorry for this, but this is live and it happens. And we have to test it as we're on the air. This is not like regular TV. And I've had these in my career on live TV, but it's done differently. They quickly go to breaks until they get it straight. But we have to do it this way because we're on YouTube and other outlets, and we have to do it our way. Okay. Well, we'll do the best we can with what we got.
It's probably an echo still again on you hear me, but I don't think they hear the echo. So let's see. We'll try again.
Well, Tom, thanks, because your technical wizardry definitely comes in here. I wouldn't know what to do. But let's continue the discussion on that zone pay-per-view before Ryan Garcia, the hiccup, because Richardson Hitchens, the IBF champion at 140, he fell low. The IBF title defense pulled versus Durate. Durate called Hitchens a coward. Oscar De La Hoya, his promoter, was perplexed about the whole thing. More therapy in the sport needed with this. Unbelievable. So the IBF then orders Richardson now to defend that junior welterweight title versus Landolfo Delgado. 30 days to agree to do it to a purse. If not, they go to a purse. But Tom, what did you make of that when that fight was called off because of Hitchens suddenly falling ill? Hydration, same-day weigh-in. They should have same-day weigh-ins. I'm saying that all the time. Now I can't hear Tom at all. Tom, I don't hear him at all, but... I can't hear Tom at all. And it's a shame. We have a stacked show tonight. Without a guest, but it's just me and Tom, but we have a lot to talk about. So I don't know what's going on. All right, fans, we're keeping in the ring. I hope you can hear me. I'm still on, I believe, but Tommy D is probably going to come in and out again. We're going to stand. I'm going to explain something before we move on with all this boxing talk. Live programming on social media, on the internet, as we do, and we do it at the least expensive way we can, with a few sponsors. And so we don't have that high-tech technology as some of the other big boy shows have on YouTube and other streams. I don't even know if you're hearing me right now. So once in a while, when you go live, and that's why Tom and I have been talking about doing a tape show so we don't encounter this, and we might end up doing that after tonight, because to tell you the truth, this is not very fun to do like this. This happens. It's live. And when you're doing regular TV, whether it be on a cable network or somewhere else, and you have a technical issue, you have the best out there, and Tom is the best. And when it comes to this stuff, he's the best, Tommy D. But when then those guys get paid good money, and you go to commercial break until they get it straight. And I'm sure you've seen that many times on live programming on all the networks. But this is YouTube. This is StreamYard. I'm not faulting StreamYard. And if you try doing, and now I'm going into a therapy, social media type of advice type of thing. This happens. This happens. And now Tom is back. I hear you on an echo, but do you hear me okay?
I hear you okay, but you're coming off very loud, and I don't know how to adjust it. And the echo, I don't know what's going on, but I think it's better than before. But let's see. Everything feels like kick me off. So, all right.
Well, let's move on as quick as we can. As I was explaining to everyone, I'm sure it was on live too, why this happens. And my apologies again, and yours as well, but it's not our fault. It's not our fault. But let's move on. Now they can hear Well, they can hear me, which is good, which means they can hear you as well. So I was talking about the Hitchison thing and what happened there. And now that he has to defend that title against someone else, and that was a shame. We were looking forward to Durate and what did you hear about that? What was from your sources? Was Hitchison really real, or was he a coward?
I think, I mean, I don't like to call another man a coward, I guess, in the ring, but
I don't either.
I think he,
But that's Durate's words.
yeah, I think he rehydrated badly. I think he made the weight, the second day weigh-in, right? The day of weigh-in, because he got an IBS rules. But I don't think he felt good. And after he ate after that, I think he said he had food poisoning, but I just think he wasn't feeling well and he didn't want to go to the fight, feeling the way he was, and he pulled out the fight. So
Let's face it. Richardson Hitchens is a very talented fighter. That's why he's a champion in that division. He's looking to unify it as well. And he will get a title defense, but Durate now has to wait. I don't understand that, but that's the way it goes. It's up to Perchbrid now.
I think he's going to have to move up in weight, or he's going to have to give up the IBF title and maybe fight under the different sanctions because he can't do the weight. The weight is killing him.
Okay, and then you had Hirako from Japan with the visa issue, all that traveling, finally made it in. And Gary Russell, we had that fight and moved up. WBA junior welterweight title, 117, 110, 116, 11 twice. Russell had speed, maybe too much. He went to the body, and it worked. He wants the title unification in that division. Could it be Shakur Stevenson or target someone else? What do you think, Tom?
Well, I don't think he's going to fight Shakur because I think they're too much. There's too many friends in this business, and usually friends you would think they would fight each other, but who knows? And then if he wants to fight Hitchin, I thought Russell looked okay. I thought there were moments that Hiroko looked good. Whether or not the visa issues and the layoffs and the jet lag had any issues, and he gave him problems or not, we don't know. But I thought Hiroko did well. I thought he hurt Russell to the body late in the fight, and he got penalized for the low blow. But I thought he was very competitive. But we'll never know if the jet lag was any issue. Create any issues for Hiroko.
140 is a terrific division to watch right now in the sport. That division may not need therapy like a lot of other things that are going on in the sport. A lot of great fighters and champions at 140, including that guy. And, of course, we'll see, even Richards and Hitchens, let's see where that goes. Tom, after a press conference brawl in Detroit the other day, and it was ugly, and a dark eye for the sport for boxing. Did I say therapy here? Yeah, they needed therapy. Boxing needs to get rid of these stupid press conferences because that was unnecessary. Clarissa Shields, she's the undisputed female heavyweight title, unified super middleweight champ. She beat Franchone Cruz Dazan in Detroit. A unanimous decision, 190, all three judges. Shields is now 18-0. Tom, do you have an image of Clarissa Shields defending and staying undisputed? I think we had that.
Yeah.
There we go. She's a marvelous athlete in the female division. And I'll tell you another thing, though. These two are very good friends, so that press conference brawl that happened after the press conference, whatever stemmed from it, after the weigh-in was totally unnecessary. It was ugly for the sport. Someone could have got seriously injured. We just don't need to see this no more, even from the female side.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, listen, I thought, that was an ugly spot for the sport. But you know what? The next night was a great spot for the sport and for female boxing. Listen, and I just did a video on this. Clarissa Shields proved that she is one of the faces of boxing. I mean, when you can go out and sell almost 18,000 seats in attendance in Detroit, where the city where I think it was the third largest boxing event in the history, second and third to maybe Joe. I think Muhammad Ali sold a bunch of tickets there as well. I'm not sure against who, but I think it was the third all time. I think that's great, and it was just her, right? I know Franchone Cruz, like she's a big name in the sport, but not as big as like Clarissa Shields, obviously. When Amanda Serrano fought Katie Taylor, those are two huge names in New York City, right? Where there's a big Puerto Rican population, big, Irish population. What Clarissa did by herself, pretty much, 18,000, was beautiful and huge. And
she does draw attention. She sells tickets. She is popular and could be just as popular as Amanda Serrano ever was. So she defends her title. All right, we'll move on, and it's now official that Carlos Adames postponed his fight close 2 weeks ago at Madison Square Garden on the undercard of Teofimo Lopez and Shakur. Rescheduled now fight for Adames, WBC title up for grabs March 21st at the Caribe Royale Resort on the zone. That's in Orlando, in that area. So Adames, who was off the card 3 weeks ago or so at the Garden, now will be back in 2 weeks soon. It's rescheduled March 21st. That's a few weeks away. And over the weekend on the zone, we might have seen this before before we saw Barrios and Garcia on the zone. You had Leo Wood and Josh Warrington, unanimous decision, their rematch in Nottingham. So now Wood has won both fights in their rivalry. The featherweights, there were retirement hints now from both fighters that they're both going to retire. That remains to be seen. But both threw a lot of punches, so that was a pretty good fight if you saw it. I only saw highlights of it. Tom, how about this news? We move on as we keep it in the ring. Hope you can all hear us as well. No therapy for the Hall of Famer Bob Arum in Top Rank. He's been sending fighters all over the place because he didn't have ESPN. Well, it looks like he's got his champion in Inoue still out of Japan, 32-0, 27 knockouts. Perhaps number one with most in the rankings as a top fighter in the world. And his anticipated clash now with Nakakani Saturday, May 2nd, according to the Ring, Tokyo Dome, defending his undisputed junior featherweight championship. He had 4 successful title defenses last year. So we're finally getting to see, we're going to see Nakatani and Inoue. And that should determine a lot of marbles for both of them in Japan at the Tokyo Dome. That's going to be huge in May, Tom.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge fight. I'm not sure who's going to win that fight. At first, when this fight was talked about before their last fight, I was favoring Nakatani. I like Nakatani, but Nakatani got a gift. I got a gift decision his last fight. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it's a good fight, and I think it's a great fight for Japan, right? They got 2 world champions, in Japan, and it's good for them, right? So let the best man win, and hopefully the best man will fight one of the big stars here in America to make another huge, fight, and hopefully they can bring it here in the United States.
Bob Arum and Top Rank, of course, have been sending their fighters to other shows because they didn't have ESPN. The report is, according to The Ring and Mike Coppinger, who's this guy knows his stuff, and I've been able to confirm it with people I know at Top Rank. ESPN and Top Rank purportedly are going to be reunited, which is good for the sport. They've been sending out fighters like Shushu Carrington, their champion, Xander Zayas, and Richard Torres, the heavyweight, who's got a fight coming up soon, and Emilio Vargas, and so many others. Now they can get back to business if they get ESPN in their corner. That's good for the sport. The promoter, the Hall of Famer Bob Arum, was relentless to get ESPN back into the fold.
Yeah, this would be good. This is big. Top Rank been struggling. They've been putting their fights on TV and sending their fighters, to other promotional companies. I think they're going to lose some fighters too. I think they're going to cut some fighters as well. As Bob Arum's not going to be around much. Who knows how long he's got. So not sure where the status of Top Rank goes, but I think it's good to be back on ESPN. It's a huge sport network, right? And they'll get more viewers through ESPN. So hopefully this works out. I think it would be a big help to the sport and to the Top Rank fighters.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. We'll hear an announcement about it. That's imminent. Top Rank and ESPN back together. And we even have Abdullah Mason, who's reportedly set for an April mandatory against Joe Cordina on the Fury Makarov undercard. So that's shaping up to be a good card for Tyson Fury's comeback. And Abdullah Mason, who's under the Top Rank banner, will be on that.
On that fight, right? fight, then he should be the co-main event, not Conor Ben. He's a bigger attraction.
Well, yeah, but Conor Ben is big news. So, yeah. Well, look, yeah. And Ben Prograis, that has some interest, especially because Conor Ben's first fight with Zuffer, and of course Regis Prograis, who's still out there, the former champion. Okay, so yeah, well, there's not much left. This could be it. He's going to make a statement again. He's going to have to be Conor Ben. So we'll see. All right, on the Zone Saturday night, we have fights this weekend. Glendale, Arizona, Emmanuel Navarrete, who has the power, who has the footwork, who's been in some controversy off his last fight, defends the WBO junior lightweight title against Nunez, the IBF junior lightweight title up for grabs. So this should be a good one on the Zone this weekend. Emmanuel Navarrete. And take a look at the rest of the card. Again, this is on the Zone, not pay-per-view. Abel Ramos, Toledo Smalls, welterweights. That's 10 rounds. Emiliano Vargas, the top-ranked prospect, undefeated, versus Augustin Santana, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Tom, do you like this card Saturday night? Are you going to take an interest in it?
It's a decent card. I think Navarrete and Nunez should be a good fight. I think Navarrete's going to stop Nunez, but you never know. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. And Tamir Smalls and Ramos, that's a good fight. It's very intriguing. Ramos can bang, and he's a good fighter, and he almost beat Barrios. And Tamir Smalls, he's a prospect. He trains, I believe he trains with Boots Ennis. His last fight, I thought he kind of got a little bit of a gift against my guy Roman, but nevertheless he won. He's got huge pop in his hands. So this is going to be a bang. I don't think this fight is going 10 rounds or whatever his schedule's for. I think this might be the fight of the night, Smalls and Ramos.
Okay, so that's your major fight action this weekend on the Zone, and then we look ahead because the fight calendar is building up. Hopefully, therapy has been concluded as we move along. As the theme of the night, boxing needs therapy. The upcoming calendar, of course, Opatai, Paramount Plus, and Zuffer against Glanton. That's coming up, the cruiserweight title. And where does he go from there? Ben Benitez is testing the cruiserweights against Ramirez. That's coming up. Looking forward to Barboza Jr., 140 again against Kenneth Sims. How about Animus, as we mentioned, for the middleweight title defense? Findora Thurman. We're not talking much about it, but that's creeping up on us, March 28th. A fight that was pulled off and is back. Deontay Wilder back against, and then they got Fury's come back. Callum Smith and David Morrell. They've been in the picture in the last few years. 168. Of course, Pacquiao before Mayweather is going to be an exhibition in April. And then you have Ramirez, as I said, Ben Benitez, May 2nd. Cinco de Mayo weekend for the cruiserweight title. It looks interesting, Tom. Out of all those fights coming up on the calendar, what interests you the most?
I want to see what Thurman's going to do against Fedor. Thurman has been active for the last 3-4 years. The activity's been down. This is probably his last hurrah. I'm very intrigued in that fight. That one is probably out of all the fights most intriguing. And of course, I want to see how Deontay looks against Chisora, because I think if Deontay can, look good and win in spectacular fashion, I think he'll get another opportunity at a world title. So those are the two fights that stick out to me.
And Ben Benitez, of course, against Ramirez, because a supercard reportedly is being set for September 12th in Saudi Arabia. So says the Turk guy in the ring. Mexican champions versus other countries. Saudi Arabia celebrating Canelo Alvarez's return to the ring. And it looks like it's going to be, as they're saying, Canelo against Mabili at 168. And Oshaki Foster will be on the card defending. And Ben Benitez, assuming that at cruiserweight, going for another title, another division, he's going to move back to light heavyweight, where he's very good. He's a champion there, and that hasn't been revoked of that title by the WBC. They gave him the permission to go on to cruiserweight and see if he can achieve boxing history, become a 3-division champ. Ben Benitez and Ben Benitez Baval, not Bernaviv. That would be in the plan, light heavyweights. Did you hear about this, Tom, for September 12th?
No, I didn't. I know that they had a Canelo come back. But I didn't hear him possibly fighting with Billy. That's crazy. That's
Yeah, and I've been saying that for the last year, that Mabili, undefeated at 168, with the power and everything else, would be getting Canelo Alvarez as an opponent, Canelo's next opponent. And it looks like the Turk guy's been able to confirm that in Saudi Arabia for Canelo's comeback fight.
okay. Well, see, yeah, I didn't know more or less, but it'd be interested if they're on the same card, Benavidez and Canelo on the same card. I think that's very intriguing.
That would be that's something that I question. But then again, you got the money, and the Turk guy supposedly doesn't have the money he once had behind all of this. And I'm sure it'll be on his own pay-per-view as well. Without Frank Warren and Queensberry, without Eddie Hearn probably involved somehow, or maybe he will, maybe Dana White or not, I don't think he's involved with this at all, even though he's involved with the Turk guy. It's a big financer towards what's going on with Zuffa. Boxing needs therapy. We've come to that conclusion in between our interruptions technically tonight, Tom. The sport needs therapy. A sport that's healthy with money, but definitely needs therapy to get it straight. And stop the fighting and the bickering and taking one fighter off another. You know, it happened years ago, but not to this magnitude, because there's all of this, the money reigning in the sport. All right, this is Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tommy D, TD Sports Talk. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Facebook page, Keep It in the Ring. Social media at the bottom of the page. And the fight calendars we've been talking about. Sorry again for the technical issues we've encountered, but we're here. And Tom, let's get to the fact of the week, and then we're going to take a quick break out and go right through, because we lost some time. All right, you ready, Tom? Your favorite part? No guests this week. Fact of the week. Here we go. And it's about Manny Pacquiao. You ready to go?
Let's go.
All right. Of course, he's the 8th division champion. Tried to be 9. Boxing history. All right. He's had these championships. The only champ with 4 fighting for championship. Only decade champion. 4 decades as a champion. The only fighter to do that as an 8th division champion. Now, of all the weight classes he fought in those 8 divisions, there is a fact about Manny Pacquiao. All right? A champion 4 times in the welterweight divisions. That's what I've got. All right? But what's the significance of that when it comes to Manny Pacquiao?
He's never been undisputed.
That's one.
He's never been, has he ever been unified? I can't remember if he's unified.
No. But the fact is that, look at his age. That's your hint.
I don't know.
As a welterweight, holding that title 4 times. Here's the fact, and I'm going to give you credit for it.
Okay.
I'm going to give you credit. He is on record, fact, oldest welterweight champion on record, age-wise.
All right.
Yeah. Well, now you know it, because it's a fact of the week.
All right.
I'll give you credit. You got some of it. Okay? Being that we were on the Manny Pacquiao retirement tour again with Floyd Mayweather, a fight that shouldn't happen. All right. So, Tom, quick break. All right? Come back. We'll do nostalgia. We'll do the wrestling and the nostalgia go right through. All right?
You got it.
Okay, live. Keep it in the ring. I'm Rich. That's Tom. Stay with us. Back in a moment.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow.
Yeah, we're back, and Rich just stepped off for a minute, so give me 1 second. We'll just go over one more advertisement.
Whoops.
my mic is muted. Everything is going bad today. This has been. It's not working out. I don't even know what else to say. Can you hear me? You're on mute yourself. You have to unmute it. So every time I play the videos, I notice that it's muting us. So you're on mute right now. So every time I go to the commercial, it mutes you. Now you have to go ahead and unmute.
Right through.
Okay.
I hear you.
All right, now you're.
Well, no more breaks because of this technical issue, and we're going to get this thing wrapped up as soon as we can. Apologies again. And we don't go videos tonight, which is good in itself too, or a guest, or we'd be a mess. We need therapy.
The microphone is acting really
Yeah. But we'll get it straight back for next week. Let's go to the pro wrestling WrestleMania season, and let's take a look at WrestleMania plans are spoiled. Maybe WWE needs therapy because the Vision, they're besieged with injuries. This happened on Monday Night Raw, and Bronson Reed, now, torn bicep, out for indefinite period of time. WrestleMania plans spoiled. So Bronson Reed is out. Braun Breaker's out. Seth Rollins out. Rumored to return to WrestleMania. Maybe he is the masked man. We still don't know who it is, but they're talking that's going to be Seth Rollins. That plan is all up in the air now. Reed out. Breaker is out. The Vision and Paul Heyman are down to two guys. Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And maybe Brock Lesnar too.
Yeah, it's been bad for them, and they have to adjust and move along and giving other guys the opportunities to, to take some of the spotlight if they can.
Yeah. Take a look at what else we got here, because on Monday Night Raw, this took everybody by surprise. Congratulations. It seems like The Undertaker is the guy that now comes in the ring with his the bad road gimmick, and then says you're going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. AJ Styles at a retirement send away on Monday Night Raw, and then this. He's the newest inductee to WWE Hall of Fame 2026. The Undertaker told the middle of the ring that was very, very emotional. And that's great. AJ deserves it. And he'll stay around WWE as some type of ambassador or work backstage. So that was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
AJ's been a great, he's been a great wrestler since, I've seen him when he first came out in TNA. And then came to WWE after, a long stint with TNA. And immediately came to the big thing. You think they have to go to NXT. He didn't have to. So... AJ is one of the better performers, in our time. Definitely in the 2000s, right?
Yeah. That was a compelling moment on Monday Night Raw. And Jey Uso, of course, because Bronson Reed got hurt, he wasn't in the plan. He wasn't supposed to be the final guy to go in that chamber. We'll talk about that Saturday night in Chicago on ESPN. So Jey Uso got it. He wasn't the guy who was supposed to win that match. And Brock Lesnar shows up with Paul Heyman, and it's open to anyone that wants him for WrestleMania. He's going to compete there. I wouldn't be surprised. He plays a role with the Vision now with everyone out of action because of injury. And then we had Morgan and Bakar all set for WrestleMania for the Raw Women's World Championship. And Dirty Dom, of course, something's going to happen with him, I'm telling you, for WrestleMania. And we go to the chamber. Because we get AJ Lee and Becky for her title, which could continue on to WrestleMania in Chicago, our hometown, with CM Punk also with Finn Balor for the Punk's world title, also in Chicago, husband and wife. You know they're not going to lose. And then you're going to have the men's chamber. Rhodes, Knight, Orton, Javon Evans, this young star who is very exciting to watch. Trick Williams, another one up from NXT, doing great things. And Uso in the men's chamber. Everyone knows Cody's going to win this match, Tom.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else. Unless they swerve us with maybe Uso or something, which I doubt. But yeah, I don't see anybody else winning the chamber. It's gonna be Cody and McIntyre WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then in the women's chamber, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Asuka, Kiana James, and to be announced. We'll find out on SmackDown tomorrow night who the final entrant will be. So I'm looking forward to the Chamber on Saturday night from Chicago United Center on ESPN. You got to have the app. And everyone's wondering again who's in that crate. The mystery. Another one of Triple H's ideas. And that is the talk. He's no longer with AEW. Not going to be Chris Jericho. Going to be that guy. If you remember Dan Housen, who was a real big star in Japan at one time. In AEW, he was big at one time. And things went bad. He's going to be the guy in the crate. That's what everybody seems to think. That's the talk coming out of WWE from your sources. Yeah. Because you never watched AEW, that's why.
I don't watch AEW.
And speaking of AEW, last night it continued. Now we have a Texas Death Match for Revolution later in middle of March. Paige against MJF, the champion. AEW once again here, there, and everywhere. But WrestleMania is the focus, the Elimination Chamber on Saturday night on the ESPN app. And the Chamber, though, to me, it's just another event, PLE event for them, because once again, who comes out of that could be a WrestleMania main eventer. I mean, that's why you have the Royal Rumble. So to me, it makes no sense why you do it for both, but they do it. Yeah. You fill the days.
See, I mean, and then you got Punk and Finn Balor. That should be a good match.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder if you're going to see El Grande Americano at the Chamber.
I hope.
Mask versus Mask at WrestleMania. That's the match. Your favorite El Grande Americano?
That's one of my favorites. They definitely got to have him. He's definitely one of my favorites. Gracias.
No therapy for them.
No.
All right, let's go to nostalgia quickly. Go first February 20th, 1910, before you put the images up with the second one. Ad Walcott stopped the battling Nelson in round 40. February 20th, 1910. 40 rounds. This fight was scheduled for 45 rounds, Tom. So, yep, I did that in 1910 in Point Richmond, California. He floored Nelson in round 22. The fight scheduled for 45 rounds, rated the 19th greatest title fight of all time. So if you look that one up, February 20th, 1910, Ad Walcott stopped battling Nelson in round 40. How weird is to say that? All right. And then we don't have video of this, but this happened in February 20, 1983. The legendary Julio Cesar Chavez with the fifth-round TKO of Greg Houghton, retaining WBC light welterweight title. His record with 100. In other words, he stopped. This was at the Estaldo Azteca in Mexico City with a record crowd of 132,247 fans. Houghton, before the fight, said Chavez, with an 84-0 record compiled, was more fitting for taxi drivers, his opponents. Yeah. And Chavez dropped him in the opening seconds of the fifth round. He didn't stop the barrage till the stoppage. He got insulted because he was told, Houghton said that you got that 84-0 record because you stopped taxi drivers. So then, they had controversy back then in 1983. Maybe they needed therapy, but look at the crowd.
The crowd was 132,000.
132,000 fans watching a championship fight.
That is pretty awesome. And
in Mexico City.
He insulted Chavez.
Yeah.
Chavez gave him a beating. If you ever needed to see a beating inside the ring, this was it. Chavez beat him and just beat him badly. I don't know what other words to use that won't get us canned off the air, but this was a beating.
Yeah. Now that is, you can catch footage of it on YouTube. We cannot show it because of restrictions, so we wanted to, but there it is. Chavez Houghton, February 20th, 1983. Chavez still considered the icon and greatest, even over Canelo Alvarez in Mexico as a Mexican fighter.
Has Canelo ever did 130,000?
No.
All right.
No. He's made 130 million. But then again, Tom, remember, and everyone, Chavez didn't have the money out there. When he fought, the money wasn't out there like it is today.
Yeah, you're right.
He only made a purse of $3 million.
Yeah.
That's the difference. All right. That's nostalgia this week. More next week. Hopefully we'll have some footage. And a little boxing note before we continue and wrap up. Katie Taylor, we mentioned her earlier. She announced her retirement after a homecoming fight in Dublin, Ireland this summer. She's fought 20 years. Amanda Serrano, the trilogy, well known for that. Beat her 3 times. 30 years of age. A career Olympic gold medal winner. 2 times a undefeated champion. 2-weight undefeated champion in the female rank. Katie Taylor did a lot for female boxing. Of course, her and Amanda Serrano and their trilogy just propelled it to a big extent.
Yeah, she's definitely one of the, I wouldn't say the face of boxing, but she has a great story as far as her and her background from Ireland, where she had to, pretty much come up and pretend she was a boy, right, in order to get fights. So, very intriguing, very interesting story for Katie Taylor. She's done great as far as the sport of boxing, as far as being an influence for future and the younger women fighters.
And she's retiring, she says, after a fight in Ireland over this summer. Congratulations, great career. And finally, I end on this, and you take a look going back in the past with me again, and you love this all the time. Remember the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobs? They were WCW, then went WWF at the time. The Nasty Boys. They were tag team champions, 2 good guys. Right now, they don't wrestle no more. They do some small indie shows, and they do a lot of autograph shows. Yeah, the Nasty Boys. They were nasty in the ring. They weren't nasty to me, except there I am again with my eyes closed. And then you go back in time, and you take a look at the old wrestling poster. And there you go. Westchester County Center, White Plains, New York, February 23rd, way back, early 80s. That was a hub for WWF at the time. A lot of shows up in White Plains at the Westchester County Center, a small venue where they also hold a lot of professional fights. And to watch a wrestling match there, no matter where you sat, you were front row. And it was great. That was Arnold Skolin. He was the booker. He was the agent. He was former manager of the late legendary champ Bruno Sammartino. Look at the names that were on that card, and for a very, very minimal price, fans got to see great wrestling. There's the poster. Bob Backlund, who I want on this program, trying to get him. Ray the Clipper Stevenson, Big John Studd, the late Big John Studd. And I got to tell you stories about me and him when I find the photos with me and him. Chief Jay Strongbow against Studd. Strongbow, of course, Jules Scarper. Not the Indian, but a cook, a restaurant cook, Italian restaurant cook. Superstar Billy Graham against Strongbow. Mr. Fuji and Pedro Morales, the former champion, WWF champion. 3 other bad, fans got their money's worth when they went there. Do you remember that, Tom?
Yes, I mean, listen, if anybody, you have to be from New York, and the Westchester County Center, White Plains is a great place to watch boxing and wrestling. It's a small, but it's almost like the Barclays, like everything's kind of like on top of the ring. It's a great place to watch events. Right?
And the fans had access to the wrestlers, not like they do now. The wrestlers would come off the stage downstairs and they'd sign autographs then, also outside in the runway though Vince McMahon told these guys all the time, do not ride in the arena together, kayfabe and all that stuff, and do not be seen coming out of the arena together, going separate cars. What they would do, this is an interesting story before we go. These guys would come in separate cars, they would drive out. And then they would change, and the villain would be with the villain, the good guy would be with the good guy, and then when they got past the county center, they would change cars, and they'd ride with each other. the villain and the good guy to not give it away. Back then, fans already knew, most were in on it, knew. Vince McMahon, though, wanted to keep it kayfabe, didn't want none of that stuff. And then everything blew out because the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan got caught riding together on the New Jersey Turnpike and got pulled over by the police, by the cops. And then everything blew out. Then wrestling wasn't sanctioned by the commissions, no more antitrust, all that stuff. Everything changed after that story. But that was wrestling at the county center in White Plains. And it was great. I used to go to a lot of those shows. I worked a few as well. So that's it for this week. Tom, any final thoughts? With all the technical issues, remember...
Technical issues was kind of annoying, and it kind of got to me a little bit.
We got through it, though, and the message, again, is boxing needs therapy. Let's hope they get this all together. To be determined about that. Conor Ben and Eddie Hearn will get over this. And I talked to Teofimo Lopez. He's going to come on soon, again, with us. He's now officially 147. Good.
I got some questions.
Good. We'll get him on, whether live or pre-tape, but we will have Teofimo on again. I got some interesting guests lined up. It's a matter of confirming. I don't want to spoil it in the weeks and months ahead here on the program. So my thanks to all of you. Any comments with all the technical, anything else come up that we might have missed from everyone?
No, people are just saying this show is just a problem with the sound.
Yeah, and again, we apologize. Live broadcast, that'll happen. We'll get the kinks straightened out, and thank you all for tuning in, despite all the setbacks we had. Tom, where do fans reach you, and where you're going to be? What's next for you?
Well, real quick, one guest is asking if that was from the early 80s. This card was in the 80s, Rich?
Yes, it was, early 80s.
Early 80s. Okay.
Yes, yep, way, but it was 1982.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, you guys, you can catch me here on YouTube. I'm going to drop some videos on YouTube. And then Sunday, I got a good interview coming up, Tales from the B-Side. We're going to have Thomas Cornflake Lamana. Should be a great show. We're going to talk about his boxing career and him coming up, obviously, through the B-Side. And, he's had some big name fights. May have not won, but, he knows the business well, and he's now a promoter. He promotes friends of ours.
Just on good shows down the boardwalk in Atlantic City and in Philadelphia. And two of our favorites on the program are on his next show, right?
Yep.
Fazio and Keith Colon, the undefeated featherweight, 9-0. So we'll have them on. We'll push that a little more also in the next week or two. As always, great job, my friend. I can't do it without you. And to get through these technical issues, I would never be able to do that. I would need more therapy than what I get now.
Yeah, this is frustrating. I got to figure it out.
You will. You will. With String Punk Entertainment, Tommy D Sports Talk, I'm Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe, despite everything, to my channel here on YouTube, the Facebook page, like that, keep it in the ring, and my social media, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, Instagram, Mancuso786. Of course, read my contact on Latinosports.com, and I go more, that article's up there posted, more into the old-timers that shouldn't be no more in the sport, that are taking center stage. Pacquiao Mayweather, Tyson Mayweather, all that stuff. It's on Latinosports.com. Until next week, stay good, be good to each other, stay well, God bless, and as always, Tom, what do we say?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring for sure, which we did this week. Till next time, fans, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.